We are live. Hello everyone. It's Gill Fountain here from Building Tomorrow Today with 38 Partnership. Now, I am delighted that we have with us today Melissa. Now, Melissa, do tell me how you say your surname.
Schultz.
Schultz.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Now, Melissa's going to talk about mindset. Mindset. Oh my word. I've forgotten what we were talking about. Mindset.
Yep. We're talking about mindset.
Yep. And I'm going to read a little bit out because I found this really interesting. So in addition to Melissa's coaching business, your breakthrough coach, she's the director of Women with a Purpose in the Coulee Region. Yes, I did have to ask what that meant and where it was. And as a serial entrepreneur, she established her virtual assistant business at a time when cell phones barely existed. I do remember those times.
I know.
And it was still common to have a dial-up internet. She's also a wellness advocate, leading a large team, sharing her passion for integrative medicine and helping people live their healthiest lives. That is a lot. You've got a lot going on, haven't you?
Yes. Yes.
And so, because I know you as a coach.
Yep.
But as with all of this, every single broadcast that we have, every single Facebook Live we have, we always find out something different that I never even knew about. And I may have spoken to people on and off for quite a long time. Long-term friends are in the group, and I still find that little bit of extra. So first of all, the Coulee region is a region in your area, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So I am in La Crosse, Wisconsin of the United States. Right. And this is just like a little area where kind of bluffs surround us. They're not mountains, they're bluffs. And so it's just referred to as the Coulee region.
Right.
So, yeah.
Very
and
nice.
There's another chapter, actually. It's in Lake Hallie, Wisconsin, of Women with Purpose.
I see. And is it, do many people come along, or are they members of, is it a monthly meeting or a?
So we meet, so it's the purpose of it is to help women lead balanced, purposeful lives. And so we meet monthly from September to May, and then we take a little break and then we start up again. So pre-COVID, we would meet in person. We have a speaker every month, and they're just, it's a variety of topics. A week ago, so our region meets on the second Wednesday of the month at 12 p.m. Central Time. And in January, I was the speaker covering a topic called Depression, Anxiety, and Seasonal Affective Disorder. So,
oh, yes, we spoke about that yesterday, didn't we? I'm one of these people that have to have one of these lights to give me that extra boost.
Yeah.
And they do work. It does work, but I think it affects more people than what we know. It's quite a large thing, isn't it, that goes on?
It is really significant, and I always knew that I had it a little bit, but it kind of reached a peak at one point 2 years ago, and I found myself, well, it wasn't funny the day I had my breakdown. And I said to my husband, I have an idea. If I'm not better in 3 days, I will go to the doctor.
Right.
But I went to a tanning bed, and I know that people don't recommend those. I get all the risks, but I literally laid in that tanning bed going, mental health, skin cancer, mental health, skin cancer.
Oh,
well, today I'm choosing mental health. And honestly, when I finished, I felt different.
Really?
Like, I felt better. And then from there, I got like they're called a happy light or a therapy light. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yep. So now
sorry.
Yeah, I use that on a regular basis now.
That's what I've got to do. I've got to go and dig it out because I'm looking at myself here going, oh, I should have put more makeup on. But So, now you've got a long history. I know you had a VA business as well, didn't you? Was it before you went into coaching, or?
So I started a virtual assistant business, mainly because I wanted to be home with my children.
Oh yeah.
So when our first was born, so he is now 26, and I was thinking about this the other day. I think God made me an entrepreneur from day one. I remember like having Kool-Aid stands and,
oh, really?
just, oh my gosh, yes. I just like, it's in me. And so I thought, well, I don't want to lose my skill and I like to work. So I started a virtual assistant business long before anybody even knew what that was.
Well, when you told me how long, I mean, it was VA. I mean, virtual assistants, we do see more and more now, don't we?
Yeah.
But even 10 years ago, it just wasn't there. I mean, it was an absolute luxury. Yeah. It was your PA at that point, wasn't it? More so. And you've been very successful at it, haven't you?
Yeah. So I have 2 people that work with me now as part of my team. And what I've seen over time is that my passion and desire has morphed and changed into the coaching aspect of it. So I kept just a couple of the clients for my virtual assistant part. And what really brought that on was I started with using essential oils with doTERRA.
Oh.
And so I have a team of like over 300, and so some of them wanted to do it as a business as well. And so I started coaching with them, and I realized how much I loved coaching. And I loved that I could see a potential in them that they couldn't even see for themselves yet. And so I just really started praying about that and looking into it. And I developed my coaching business. So,
isn't it funny how our career paths change so much?
Yeah.
We start out and we think we know exactly what we're doing in our early 20s and even 30s. And then suddenly something happens and it changes to something that you would never have thought of as a younger person.
Yep. I think it is pretty magnificent, but I also think that if we're in tune with, call it your gut instinct, call it your natural gifts, talents, and abilities, I think it's something that God has planted in us. And if you are attuned to circumstances and, the interactions, there's always a piece of that you can track back throughout your history.
There is, or there is that piece, and quite often it can be something that happens, but also it could be who you've met. I know when I think back, there are a couple of people that I know changed the way my path, as it were.
Really?
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah. There's just a few people that I met along the way, and I know they had a huge influence on me because of their outlook and their positiveness and their, just the way they were, not only in themselves, but the way they behaved with other people, their kindness, so I absolutely agree with you on that. There's something there that if it's not as if we're even watching out. It's if we can identify it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You move into another area, don't you?
Yeah. And sometimes, like you were saying, like other people helped you. And sometimes when you're having those relationships, they see something in you that you might not even know what it is, but they recognize it. And when they point it out, it's kind of our aha moment, so to speak, where it's like, oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
Wow. Now then, you've got some, we were going to talk about mindset makeover. Yes. And I'm sorry, because we've just spent the last 10 minutes talking about completely off script.
I like it.
I'm sorry about that, because I've messed it up completely. But do talk to us about mindset makeover.
Well, I do have a few notes, but in addition to being like busy entrepreneurs, like I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a friend, I'm a volunteer, I'm a leader, and the list goes on and on for all of us, right?
Yeah.
And we all have so many roles to fill. I mean, we're the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker.
Yes, we are.
And like, there's just so many expectations, from others and of ourselves. And if you're a people pleaser, that really can get you into trouble, but that's a topic for another day, not today. But really, we all are trying to figure out how not to drop the spinning plates. And then, we've got the added stress of, well, today's times of COVID and all that's brought to, like, if you're a parent, your children are suddenly at home and you've got to figure out how to do school and work, and just like how we function daily, how we function with family. So there's just a lot of stress, and anxiety is really just the body's response to worry and fear. And what's that?
Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to think back to how I can relate that. And I think that's true.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we've all experienced anxiety at some point. So maybe you're giving a presentation. Maybe you are driving a car for the first time. Maybe you are, you have a big test. I mean, we all have anxiety at some point or another. But I was really surprised to learn 264. So 264 million adults around the globe have anxiety.
Wow. That is a massive number.
I know. And it's, I think a lot of people suffer in silence. I was one that I would just, I would try to hide it. In fact, I still do sometimes. I try to hide it. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's really important that we start learning about ways that we can help ourselves. And if we know somebody that has anxiety, these are like, I have 10 tools today that I wanted to share that will help us cope and learn. I mean, they're good little tricks. So let's see here. I just want to keep track of my notes here. Oh, first I wanted to just talk about some of the signs, because I think they can be overlooked. But if you find yourself worrying excessively and just obsessing about it, it can just become really intrusive in your life and take over your thoughts and your emotions. You might feel restlessness or tension. In fact, muscle tension is very common.
Yeah. All across the back.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that really can be one of the signs. Like if you're fatigued and you're constantly feeling tired, that, it's exhausting. It is exhausting. What about like if you have regular stomach aches, digestive issues, frequent headaches, chest pain, like a squeezing, you just feel your chest kind of get tight. All of these things are signs of anxiety. So I am some of them really surprised me, especially the tension one. That one kind of, I was like, oh. But now I do realize that not everybody that's going to watch your show, that we don't all have the same beliefs, but I am amazed that in the Bible, it says fear not 365 times. And how many days are in the year?
Really?
Yeah. So 365 times it says, don't be anxious, don't be fearful.
Oh.
So
that's amazing. Yeah.
God knew that we were going to struggle with this.
Reminder. Yeah.
Yep.
That's not a coincidence, isn't it?
No, it is not.
It's not a coincidence, is it?
No, it's not even a little bit.
No.
So, so for me, I thought, okay, I got to get a handle on this, because I literally would wake up in the morning and it felt like my blood ran cold, and my heart rate was just like, it just felt like my heart was beating really fast. And I honestly didn't know that wasn't normal for most of my adult life.
Wow.
I hate to say that, but it's true. But the battle of the mind is like a legit thing. We have to battle for our mind, because we can choose our thoughts.
Yes. Yes, I get that bit. Yes.
So I like to tell people that basically we're given 5 balls in life. One of them is rubber and the other 4 are glass. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the 4 glass balls are going to be your faith, your family, your health, and your friends. And the rubber ball, that's your work. If you drop the rubber ball, it'll bounce back. Yeah. But the other balls, if you drop them, they're going to be scuffed and nicked and damaged, and they might even shatter. So a lot of times we find our identity and our self-worth in that rubber ball.
Yeah.
When really our priorities should be on the other 4. And so sometimes we have to figure out how to reach that balance, and it's never going to be even.
No.
Like, sometimes work is up here and the others are down here, but you just really have to try to make sure that over a period of time that somehow they balance a little bit.
Gosh, that's a really good lesson.
Yeah. So should we talk about the tools of what we can do to help us?
Yes, please.
Okay. So my first tool is to evaluate and balance. So we have to understand that we've got to stop our hurried, chaotic, and oftentimes overscheduled lives. It's really important that we find margin in our day, meaning we can't just go. We need to have a little bit of time to go eat a nutritious lunch, to have some time to just think about conversations that we have, and just pause. We just need to pause, and that'll help us kind of create some balance. Tool number 2 is quiet time. Now, for me, I have a cup of coffee every morning with God. And so he and I sit down and I just have a little quiet time. And I had to challenge myself it took some discipline, I'm going to say. That the first thing I would do is grab my phone and I would check email. I would check Facebook. I would check the news. And all of a sudden, shoom, like your brain just takes off and your thoughts have now become somebody else's suggestion.
Oh.
And you get like all kind of worked up if you see an email that you need to get to. Kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So basically for me, I'm just really intentional about that. And I just sit down, I have a little quiet time. You can pray or meditate, do a little reading. So that would be tool number 2. Okay. Tool number 3 is I want you to think about what you're thinking about. So if you're in a bad mood, for example, say that you're like sad or depressed, what are you thinking about? If you're anxious, what is it that you're thinking about? Because sometimes it's just stinking thinking. And if we are like telling ourselves lies, that can help us spin out. And sometimes we get caught up in the, I should have done this or I could have done that. But we have to stop those patterns. And the world wants us focused on negative news, essentially, because
yeah, I know. We could do without that, couldn't we?
I know. Yeah. It is. I mean, you really have to limit yourself, is what I've found. Yeah. And when I did that, my happiness went up exponentially. Yeah. When you think positively, you're going to start changing those negative thought patterns. And it does take a little time and it does take practice. But when you start doing it, you're going to see the results of that. So if you're in like emotional turmoil, take a look at what you're thinking about, because it could be a great thermometer and indicator of your predominant way of thinking, and that it's off center or it's negative. And basically that's harmful.
Yes. Yeah.
So our thoughts aren't just kept in the secret cave of our mind, thinking that our thoughts are just thoughts and how can that really affect my life? It's more like, I like to say it's like a seed that just, it's under the dirt. You can hide it a little bit and then it starts to sprout and then it kind of grows and it gets roots and we just got to pull it out. Mm-hmm. We really have to pull it out. Mm-hmm. Now for me, with that whole morning thing of waking up with anxiousness, yeah. I looked at some of the things that, you know, God was saying about it. And one of my favorite and probably my first Bible verses that I memorized was Philippians 4:8. And I would repeat it to myself every time. And it's, fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. And so when I would wake up with that, I would just think, okay, what is something that's true? And if I started to think about things that made me happy or things that were true, I could kind of quiet that down a little bit. Yeah. So it does take a little practice, but it can be done. I promise you. Tool number 4 is exercise. And what I will say about that is I truly have a love-hate relationship.
Oh. Well, you were just telling me about what time in the you get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Because you go and exercise, don't you?
Yes. And, you know, it doesn't even have to be like anything major, but, you know, do some yoga or stretching, or, I mean, you can walk, you can hula hoop, for crying out loud.
Oh, crikey, yes.
Go swimming. I mean, there's like a million ways to exercise, right? Yeah. So pick one of them and do it. And then my 5th tool is proper nutrition and hydration. This is really key, because if we don't give our bodies the things that they need, they're going to suffer. Mm-hmm. And and there's also science behind this. So there's a link between what people eat and their mental health, and a good diet of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains and healthy fats. So, and then to the contrary, people that have high diets of like saturated fats and added sugars tend to have higher anxiety levels. Mm. So one of the things I recommend is vitamin D3 plus the K2. The K2 just tells your body like what to do with the vitamin D, especially for those of us that live in a climate where we don't get much sun.
Yeah.
It helps with your mood.
Oh, that's and you go and buy those, do you?
Yes.
Because I haven't heard of those, but I don't buy vitamins very often. So.
Yeah. So actually I increased the dose from like November through about March or April, because it's cloudy here a lot, and it's winter, and quite frankly, the only chance of sun hitting my skin is when I'm rushing from the house to the car, because
oh dear.
Yeah, because I'm like all bundled up, and like today it's like 3 degrees out. It's cold.
Yeah.
But now this one's kind of a fun one. So humming or singing actually will quiet down like those anxious feelings. And there is science behind it, believe it or not. And it's the vagus nerve. And it's a critical nerve that like wanders from your brain, like through your body. It is connected to your larynx or your voice box.
Okay.
And it's like a super highway of communication. So like swallowing, taste, digestion, your heart rate. And like, you're not trying out for American Idol or some of those singing shows, just hum or sing, but it really lowers the, like the anxiousness that you would have. So don't worry about if you're a good singer or not. Doesn't matter. Let's see here. Oh, tool number 8 is finding your tribe. It is so important that we find people that we connect with and that we can just share some of those thoughts and feelings with. Because when you take them out of your head and, you know, you talk to somebody about it, it really can, it removes the power of the thought.
Yes. And it doesn't matter where in the world that is. It doesn't have to be in your village. It doesn't have to even be in your family. It can be anywhere, can't it?
Right. Yep. You just need to connect with people. And truthfully, I think one of the probably the more harder things of COVID has been the isolation.
Yeah.
And you have to be so intentional with being with people.
Yeah.
So, so we just need to be intentional about that. But now tool number 9 is actually essential oils. You can see a diffuser back.
Yes, I can.
Okay. I can. So these are some that really are good for feeling anxious. Balance, lavender, and lavender has research behind it that shows that it calms anxiety by impacting the limbic system. And that's the part of the brain that controls the emotions. Tulsi or holy basil. It's not the basil you use in lasagna.
Yeah.
But but it's from the same family. Bergamot, some people say bergamot. Vetiver actually has anti-anxiety properties similar to diazepam.
Oh.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Ylang-ylang, frankincense, and patchouli are all essential oils that will help kind of reduce some of that anxiousness. So, and then finally, this is my second favorite. So the singing one I love, but this one is laughter.
Yes.
It, you know, you've heard the saying, laughter's the best medicine. Yeah. Well, Proverbs 17:22 says a cheerful heart is good medicine. And that is encouraging to me, but it doesn't matter what you're laughing about. The endorphins, it creates the good chemicals in our body. But I found this part fascinating. 1 minute of anger, so 1 minute of anger reduces our immune system by 4 to 5 hours.
I can believe that.
But on the flip side of that, when you have 1 minute of laughter, it boosts your immune system for 24 hours.
Oh, wow. I was told, I don't know who told me, but I was told that even if you force yourself to laugh, like, you know, that you just force yourself to laugh, even by doing that, it helps your body.
It does.
Now, I was like, really? It's sort of, you're trying to, but they said, no, it does. Just force a laugh and then see if you feel better.
Yes.
I actually I found myself repeating that to my son the other day.
I know.
Really? It's like, I'm so miserable.
Well, and honestly, we have access to the internet. Pull up a video about an animal doing something crazy, or for crying out loud, people do crazy things too. So
I was sent some hilarious videos last week. I can't pop them on Facebook at all. They're not rude or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they were just hilariously funny. But sometimes you don't know whether everybody's going to understand it. But the one I was thinking about was it was such a broad accent. Even I was having problems. And you know, we're only talking about a couple of 100 miles away.
Really?
But it was so hilarious. I had to privately send a couple of people.
I would love that.
I thought they'll understand this just about. But it just made us laugh every single time.
Yeah.
It does us the world of good. And I try and find these on my own profile. I try and find things that will make people smile, or you know, these brain teasers that you get. And then I post them on and I say, I really don't get this. And then 20 people will tell me where it is or what it is. And then somebody will actually post me a private message saying, Gill, it's here. You know, one of these puzzle things.
Yeah.
And they've gone to the trouble of ringing round where the answer is for me. And I think, do you know, that is so lovely of them.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
It is, but they just say this just makes us laugh. And if you can make people laugh, that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yes, they're part of your tribe.
Yeah.
You need to do that.
Yeah.
So those really are my 10 tools. You know, I have a few others too, but you know, as business owners, there is just so much that we're responsible for. And sometimes we can get all caught up in our heads about it. And, you know, and then the stressors of what's going on in the world. And so, you know, it's not the only thing I focus on with people that I coach, but it certainly is something that we do talk about because mindset really matters. It really does matter.
Yeah.
Because if you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you're also right. So we have to be careful.
I do love that quote. I can't remember who did it. Oh,
Henry Ford, I think.
Yes, I was suddenly getting that name. Yes.
And it's true.
It's true.
It really is true.
You can talk yourself out of anything.
Yes.
Equally, you can talk yourself into anything.
Yep.
So I quite often, if I've got a decision to make and I'm going against it, I'm thinking, well, you know, why am I going against that decision? And then why? What? So I do those pros and cons.
Yes,
I'm not. Is it Virgo or is it Sagittarius? I can't remember which one is the scales. But I'm not that one. I can't remember which one it is, but I am actually not that one. But I do find myself weighing things up. And in the end, I talk myself into it. Go, yeah, all right.
Yeah. You know, and the thing is, as an entrepreneur, don't you find that you just have to do most stuff scared?
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just get on and do it.
Yeah.
However scared you are, it actually is not as bad when you actually do it. You think afterwards, you think, why was I worried about that?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my word. I have got your website up here. Here it is. Was there anything? Oh, look at that. That's nice. Oh, let me share it. That would help. Let me share your website so that and we'll put the website in on the comments as well. But here's your is there any part of the website that you'd like people to look at, Melissa?
I do offer a free 45-minute consultation. And that really is just, you know, I get to know them, they get to know me, and we decide if it's something that we want to work together to get you your own breakthrough.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you've got your calendar on here. Good for you.
Yes. Yes.
Oh. I do like it when I can see a calendar on somebody's website. I'm still working on mine, believe it or not. I'm a website designer, would you believe it? And
I've seen some of your work. It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. But I do see some wonderful ideas on other people's websites as well. And so I just go, oh, that's really good. I love this picture, actually.
Thank you.
Not everybody's seen it, but I love these swirls down here as well.
Thank you.
The contrast. Sorry, I'm now going into my website. You can see what I'm doing, can't you? I don't have to tell you what I'm doing anyway. let's carry on talking about you. No, so they can come onto your website and just book a session with you, can they, if they want to?
The first one is free, the 45 minutes, and that really is for us to just get to know if we would work well together. And then we'll talk about, because everybody's so different. So, but sometimes you just need your own breakthrough in terms of strategic planning, or you're stuck on something, or sometimes you've got to work through some issues. And so we just take it case by case. And I do have a group coaching program that'll be coming up on, I think it's February 21st, I want to say. Let me quick look. Nope, February 18th, we're launching.
All right.
And that is going to be learning how to partner with God in your business. And that has been one of my favorite projects when I get to work with people in that group coaching setting, and we're learning about some of the assets that we have access to that people aren't even aware of. So if that is of interest to anyone, go check it out. Yeah. And if you have questions, you can always email me.
Lovely. Well, you've given out a lot of advice today. I've been jotting things down as I go. Thank you very much for joining us. You're the first person that I've had on as my guest since before Christmas.
Oh, well, Happy New Year.
Oh, how long do you say Happy New Year to people?
I don't know. I'm over it.
However, thank you so much for joining us today. And I will stay online so that I can have another chat with you, but we'll say goodbye to everybody tonight and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.